A shocking revelation unfolds as the millionaire's home is exposed by a black woman at church. The air was thick with anticipation that Sunday morning, the sun casting long, golden shadows across the rows of pews in St. Mary's Church. The congregation buzzed with murmurs, eyes darting toward the grand doors, knowing Jack Sullivan, the local millionaire, would walk in any minute. His polished shoes made a metallic tap against the worn wooden floor, his sharp suit radiating wealth. But today, something felt different. The air was electric with unspoken words. Mia Johnson stood at the back, tension twisting in her stomach. Her family had faced injustices that ran deep, scars hidden beneath their smiles. She watched Jack shake hands, plastering on that charming grin as if nothing lay beneath. Never. Mind the gentrification, the displacement, the silent suffering of those he'd left behind in his pursuit of riches. Today she'd finally speak up. Today, enough was enough. Jack, her voice cut through the worship music, each syllable charged like a lightning bolt. Gasps filled the room and heads turned, eyes wide in shock. You claim to be a philanthropist, yet your fortune is built on hidden injustices. How can you stand here and pretend to care about this community when your hands are stained with its pain? A stunned silence fell. Jack's face paled. Disbelief flickered in his eyes. The congregation was divided. Some shifted uncomfortably. Others leaned in closer, hungry for the truth. Mia could feel the weight of their gaze, the tension coiling tighter around her chest. She was tremblando, batalhando feira e angústia, emoções intensos dentro dela. Tensão, que tentava recompor para conversar. Não é tempo alguma, Mia. Isso não debate depois, ele disse, sua voz firme, mas friada. Mas foi muito tarde. Aquela barreira foi brocada. Enquanto via, pensou na história da sua família. O coração da sua mãe, traído por falimento injusto, ela se enreverencia na luta. Não mais silêncio, ela chorou. Peras brincam das muras, te construiu ao redor dela. Essa igreja faz por verdadeira injustiça, não com paciência. Jack fez-se, a culpa licou em seu olhar. O que ele pôde dizer? Ele estava assombrado por segredos que problemas. Acusação rolada a ele. Esse cacuscatuboa se esgotou com calha a bater o peso de uma tempestade acerca. Depois, como flash de luz, a congregação se lembrou de uma tragédia com as famílias. Um incêndio de há décadas. Uma tragédia esquecida que deixou cá por o nome da terral, mas que levou o sicari nas almas. A culpa da tia não foi dos trapaças, mas da desgraça, que começou com o avô de Jack. Naquele momento, Mia viu o flicker de reconhecimento nos olhos de Jack. Estavam mais conectados que se percebiam. Não apenas com a culpa, mas com a dor partilhada. Mia poderia levantar a liderança. Então dúvida crepou. Should she seek vengeance or explore the chance of a fragile alliance? The weight of the moment settled like a heavy stone in her gut. As the congregation waited for the next word, she faced a choice that could either bring truth or deepen their divides, leaving her questioning. Would the truth heal or tear them all apart? Hey, before I continue with this amazing story, I have to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have recorded that YouTube has deleted their subscriptions without warning. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content. And while you're there, leave that mighty like that helps me a lot with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me nos comentários que cidade você tá assistindo. Adoro conhecer toda a galera que você é parte dessa comunidade. Sua participação faz toda a diferença. Let's interagir. Every pair of eyes was locked in her. Seus sorrisos arrebentados. Ela abriu a boca para falar do tumulto de seu coração. Uma bala crás ecotou na igreja. As portas pesadas acendidas bateram perto de um carregamento. Um homem bordera. Seu rosto franco, cabelo branco desgelado, colado e casas tumultuadas. Voice cut like glass, sharp and urgent. Mia flinched, but her gaze stayed on Jack. He looked confused, guilt still etched on his face. The stranger staggered deeper into the church, collapsing at the altar steps, clutching his side. "They're after me," he gasped, eyes darting. Gasps echoed around the room. People leaned in, instinctively drawn to this unexpected drama. Jack's expression shifted from shock to concern. "Who's after you?" he demanded, stepping forward. "A façada guelt, sleeping. A mongol, ação tão chorosa, sentiado do seu ouvido. A galera que você foi roubado, eles sabem." Uma corrente de murmúrios surgiu ao redor dos pios. A verdade perde o gol, o pesadelo de cada um. Mia blincou, sentindo a ceia gotada neles. Her chest. Had this man traveled from the past, from stories she'd only heard in whispers? "Don't listen to him." Jack's voice was strained, rising above the commotion. "This is absurd." "No," the man yelled, pushing himself up, breathless and frantic. "It's not absurd. You have no idea the fire, the lies, the cover-ups. Your family's empire isn't built on philanthropy. It's built on ashes, and now they're coming for you. They want justice." Mia's heart thudded loudly in her chest. "Eu gritato trágico losso, os segredos desbates baixo do universo. Now interconecto com a advertente. O rosto do tempo, desfazendo poder como brigas pedadas caindo em seu parede sem sentido." "Eu não sei o que você tá falando," Jack stammered, mas a incerteza agarra-se à voz. "Told you uma diferente história." A congregação estava no ponto do caos. Os olhos viravam voados em todas as coisas. "Saia daqui!" alguém clamou. O homem chacou a mão veementemente, os olhos largos, pedindo. Não, todos devem ouvir. É mais do que Jack. É uma rede, o passado vivo e tem ainda sua ira. Uma bolha drenou entre a igreja. Mia sentiu esse pulsar pelo ar, uma chocofonte de medo que arrastou pé a todos os presentes. Se extingue uma guarda com Jack, ambos fechados, tocados no palco da revelação. Uma verdade escura, por sombras. Uma mulher chamou o que aconteceu de verdade. Mas antes do homem responder, houve mais um recuo. Distante. Siren wailing, louder and closer. A chill of terror swept through Mia, crystallizing the moment. Could they be coming for Jack? Everything felt like it was spinning. Jack looked around, his bravado faltering as confusion consumed him. "I didn't harm anyone. I tried to help." Mia realized in a flash. She held the power in her hands. Decisions were looming. The truth was unraveling, and the air was thick with unresolved destinies. But as the man began to rise, fists clenching, lips forming words that might shatter lives, an explosion echoed outside the church, shaking the very foundation beneath them. The sound was deafening, shaking the walls, making them tremble. "Run!" shouted someone from the back, and all at once, chaos erupted. Mia stood paralyzed, the ground shifting beneath her, coração acelerado, instintos gritando para fugir. Poderia este ser o momento em que tudo mudou para sempre? Eles descobririam uma verdade que poderia unir ou destruir todos eles? À medida que a correria em pânico engolfava a igreja, a mente de Mia girava com muitas perguntas, mas um pensamento atravessou. Era este o fim? Ou apenas o começo violento de um acerto de contas? Mia ficou congelada, coração disparado enquanto o caos irrompia ao seu redor. O som das sirenes ecoava mais perto, misturando-se com vozes em pânico. O homem no altar, selvagem e desesperado, captou seu olhar. "Você tem que acreditar em mim. Eles vão..." Mas antes que ele pudesse terminar, as portas da igreja se abriram novamente, quase como se o mundo lá fora não pudesse esperar mais. Entrou outra figura, alta e imponente, vestida com um longo casaco preto. that flapped with every hurried step. Mia squinted, trying to process who it was. "David!" someone gasped from the back. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, revealing the man who had once been the town's district attorney. He looked like a ghost of his former self, pale, haunted, eyes wide with dread. "You shouldn't be here." Jack's confusion twisted into horror as he recognized the newcomer. "What do you mean?" he stammered, but David cut him off, breathless. "There's no time. We need to get out." His eyes darted to the man on the floor. "You opened a door that should have stayed closed." Mia's mind raced. What door? What were they hiding? And then, like ice running through her veins, it hit her. David had been more than just a lawyer. He had been part of something deeper, something twisted. A childhood incident she had nearly forgotten bubbled up like a dark shadow. A scandal involving her family, one that had been whispered about in the corners of the town. "David, what do you know?" she demanded, voice steady despite her shaking hands. He hesitated, glancing at Jack, the reality of whatever secret bound them suddenly crashing down. "You don't understand, Mia. It's all connected. Your aunt, the fire, a cover-up. It's bigger than just us." The sirens blared louder now, piercing through the building. Mia turned toward Jack, his eyes wide, shock painting his features. "What is he talking about?" Before Jack could respond, the lights flickered violently. A loud bang followed, shaking the walls. Mia instinctively fell back. Clinging-to pé, como as dúvidas sobre tudo que achava se entender, vieram crundendo. Depois, no momento que sentiu suspenso, o tempo passa. E aí, o estredo cortento olhou para o alto, olhos aguardadores. "Eles estão aqui." O que recebi via com a apresentação da vida. Desde Mia e Jack entrezejam olhares de confusão. Que verdade! E, de repente, as portas das tréguas se abriram. De novo, this time não era só David stormando entre. Uma grupo de figuras forma-cobertas invadiu a igreja. Eles espalhavam pálpabo como se fossem sombras trazidas à vida. O povo se divertia. Como? Saíram. E tal. E a porta da igreja se transformou em batalha. Of panic. Mia felt the adrenaline surge, feet moving even before her mind registered. This felt otherworldly, as if strands of her life were weaving in and out of this reality. Jack grabbed her hand, pulling her back. "We need to stay together," he yelled, urgency slicing through the air. But as she turned to face him, something flickered in his expression. The face of the man she thought she knew, now twisted with untold secrets. Suddenly, it struck her. Jack's family had a connection to the hooded figures. And David? He wasn't here to help. He was here to protect his own interests. "Mia!" Jack shouted, fear tightening around them both. "We have to run." As the hooded figures approached, murmurs turned to chants, incoherent words blending into an ominous rhythm. The old wounds of betrayal and loss clawed at Mia's chest, battling against a fierce, inexplicable hope that flickered in her heart. The man at the altar, speaking wildly about justice, had set off a chain reaction that might rip apart everything she thought she knew. But now, her world spun with questions. Who were the hooded figures? What had Jack's family truly hidden? Were they the ones seeking justice? Or were they just part of the same horrific cycle? In that moment, as the walls seemed to close in, Mia saw a glimmer of truth staring back at her. A truth that could either heal or destroy everything she held dear. The choices were piling up, the air thick with unresolved destinies. Uma ideia ecoava em sua mente. Tudo was about to change, and there was no turning back. Mia was frozen, a tight knot of fear twisting in her gut. The hooded figures surged forward, faces hidden, energy dark and heavy. Jack's hand felt warm around hers, but the fear in his eyes chilled her. "We need to go," he urged, panic creeping into his voice. Then, the wild-eyed man at the altar raised his hands, desperate for attention. You don't know what they want. It's about the truth. About the lives destroyed. But before he could say more, one of the hooded figures stepped forward, their voice low and steady. Silence is what we seek, not truth. The crowd gasped, the tension crackling fiercely, echoes of disbelief swirling like a storm. Suddenly the air shifted. There was a thundering knock. A sound so powerful it jolted everyone, turning heads toward the doors once more. They swung open, revealing a figure that made Mia's heart stop. It was her mother, eyes wide with fear, breathless and terrified. "Mia!" she cried, charging into the church, desperation lacing her voice. "You have to leave now!" The room buzzed with confusion and a growing sense of dread. "Mom!" Mia's voice cracked, fear twisting her insides. "What are you doing here?" Mia's mother rushed forward, urgency radiating from her. "They are coming for you, both of you. You have to listen to me." Jack's grip tightened. "What do you mean?" And then everything exploded. The hooded figures advanced. They're not just a group. They're connected to our past, to everything that's haunted your family. Her mother's voice trembled, revealing the cracks in her composure. Mia felt the weight of those words, memories crashing in like waves. The fire, the cover-ups, her mother continued, voice strained. They blame Jack's family, but there's more. It's about what was lost. The man who had fallen at the altar suddenly began to rise, urgency simmering in his eyes. They're not just here for Jack. They're after you, Mia. The truth you carry. Mia's heart raced. What truth? But her voice barely made it past her lips, drowned in the chaos. Then, out of nowhere, the figure at the front, the one who spoke, stopped. The silence was dense, suffocating. "We come for what was taken." The cycle of revenge doesn't end with Jack's family or Mia's past. The voice turned dark, heavy with finality. Mia's mother. Jack's voice warbled, disbelief coloring the air. And the truth. The hooded figure lifted a hand, slowly peeling back the fabric of their cloak. Mia could barely breathe. Recognition cut through the chaos. Her heart sank as the figure revealed their face, the once familiar features of her grandmother. But there was something else, something that twisted her insides like poison. "Mia," her grandmother whispered, eyes burning with intensity. "You are the key, the promises made and broken, a legacy scarred by silence." Mia's world tilted as she stared into the eyes of a woman she thought she knew, only to see the reflection of secrets she had never imagined. The crowd buzzed, people stepping back as if the fear was a tangible entity. The truth of her family's tangled history fused with the horror of this moment. "I had to keep you safe," her grandmother whispered, anguish rippling through her voice. "Safe from what?" Mia yelled, her chest heaving. Then the ground shook. The weight of the moment crashed down. The hooded figures were closing in, but Mia couldn't move. The woman she loved was engulfed in shadows. Dado a este nightmare, suddenamente, uma luzadeira iluminou a igreja. Vento penetrante que tudo enfatou tudo. Nesse instante, como a igreja cercou os olhos, Mia sentiu impulso no peito. Será mensagem ou parecida? Forra, mas uma sussurração. Floated through the chaos, soft yet piercing. "Mia, don't you see? It's all connected. What you learn today will change everything." As the dust settled and the light faded, Mia's heart raced with the reality that she had stepped into a story far darker than she ever knew. Everything had changed in a heartbeat. Trust had shattered. Lines were drawn, and one unmistakable thought gripped her mind. The truth she had longed for might just destroy them all. Mia stood motionless. heart racing, caught in the whirlwind of chaos. The church trembled around her, echoes of fear swirling. Her grandmother's eyes bore into her, but there was no comfort there, only tension. "They're not just here for Jack," her grandmother said, her voice trembling. "What do you mean?" Mia pressed. Each word dripped with urgency, but her grandmother seemed lost in her thoughts. Then, without warning, a loud bang jolted everyone. The hooded figures hesitated, turning as one unit toward the sound. The doors flew open again, this time tearing through the very fabric of the room. A figure stumbled in, bloodied and bruised, and the air thickened with gasp after gasp. Mia's heart dropped as she recognized the stranger, a man from her childhood. It was Marcus, her old friend from the neighborhood. "Mia," he shouted, fear cracking his voice. "Get away from them." The congregation froze, the tension so thick it cut like glass. Marcus staggered forward, holding his side, eyes wild with desperation. "You're in danger. They've come for you, Mia." Danger? Mia felt the world tilting. "What are you talking about?" "Everything," Marcus cried, his voice rising with fervor. "Your family, the fire. It's not what you think. Your grandmother, she let it all." Silence fell like a weighted blanket. Mia's stomach dropped. She turned to her grandmother, searching for an explanation. But the woman she'd loved, the one who'd always been her safe haven, now looked different. Something darker flickered behind her eyes. "No," Mia gasped, each word squeezed out through fear. "You can't mean that." "I had to protect you," her grandmother cried, hands trembling. "They were going to expose everything. I had to keep you safe from the truth." "What truth?" Jack stepped forward, confusion evident in his expression. "What has she done?" The murmurs rose, anxiety gripping the crowd. Mia felt betrayed, shattered. "No, this can't be." The hooded figures shifted, sensing the shift in momentum. Smiles hidden beneath their cloaks. "The ashes were always tied to you, Mia. You're part of our truth." Their voice rolled like thunder, heavy with a weight that felt ancient and dark. As Marcus stepped closer, blood dripping from his lip, he locked eyes with Mia. "Your grandmother was the one who orchestrated the fire. She covered it up with lies, with secrets. The truth is..." She said it all in motion. The room erupted. "What? No! This is madness!" Voices crashed like waves against the shore. "Mia, listen to me," Marcus pleaded. "Your family's sins shaped the town. The very truths they try to hide. They come looking. That's why they're here." Mia shook a head. Tiras de anja olhando a boca. A confusão pesquila no pensamento. "Não tá lá, Mia." Jack se meteu batendo no braço, com urgência. "E se essa podia é verdade, o que significa para nós?" Sua culpa fica impregnada, batendo uma fúria de incredulidade esta. "Se sim correr, tentar parar dela, não abandone o que tem que dividir-nos." Mas, nessa hora, algo mudou imediatamente. A laudo crashes aciou por ali, chacoalhando a própria fundação da igreja. Vidros ocultos e as figuras de capuz viraram, seu rosto agora iluminado na luz do pânico. "Mia", sua avó gritava, tremendo pesado no ar. "É hora de fugir." Mas realization sank deeper. Mia felt the abyss consuming her. Everything she thought she knew was collapsing. Trust shattered like broken glass. Before she could decide, a figure rushed in from the darkness, shouting, "No, the time has come for the truth." Suddenly, a gasp rippled through the congregation. It was Thomas, the town historian, the one man who had known all the buried truths. A tale spun in the fabric of their lives was tearing apart. He looked wildly around, transitioning from relief to terror. "Mia, they'll blame you," he screamed. pointing at her grandmother. Seal the past, or watch as it consumes you. The ashes are coming for revenge. Each word felt like a dagger. The room spun, souls trapped in this web of revelations, lines drawn. Mia's heart rang with disbelief. What had started as an act of defiance had morphed into an entrapment of hidden truths and lies. With every heartbeat, the shadows whispered secrets that clawed at the edges of her sanity. And as the chaos tightened around her, all she could think was one burning question. Was she part of the legacy that would drag her into the darkness? Mia stood motionless, heart racing, caught in the whirlwind of chaos. The church trembled around her, echoes of fear swirling. Her grandmother's eyes bore into her, but there was no comfort there, only tension. "They're not just here for Jack," her grandmother said, her voice trembling. "What do you mean?" Mia pressed. Each word dripped with urgency, but her grandmother seemed lost in her thoughts. Then, without warning, a loud bang jolted everyone. The hooded figures hesitated, turning as one unit toward the sound. The doors flew open again, this time tearing through the very fabric of the room. A figure stumbled in, bloodied and bruised, and the air thickened with gasp after gasp. Mia's heart dropped as she recognized the stranger, a man from her childhood. It was Marcus, her old friend from the neighborhood. "Mia," he shouted, fear cracking his voice. "Get away from them." The congregation froze, the tension so thick it cut like glass. Marcus staggered forward, holding his side, eyes wild with desperation. "You're in danger. They've come for you, Mia." Danger? Mia felt the world tilting. "What are you talking about?" "Everything," Marcus cried, his voice rising with fervor. "Your family, but fire. It's not what you think. Your grandmother, she let it all." Silence fell like a weighted blanket. Mia's stomach dropped. She turned to her grandmother, searching for an explanation. But the woman she'd loved, the one who'd always been her safe haven, now looked different. Something darker flickered behind her eyes. "No," Mia gasped, each word squeezed out through fear. "You can't mean that." "I had to protect you," her grandmother cried, hands trembling. "Eles iam expor tudo. Eu tinha que te manter segura da verdade." "Que verdade?" Jack deu passo à frente, confusão evidente em sua expressão. "O que ela fez?" Os murmúrios aumentaram, a ansiedade dominando a multidão. Mia se sentiu traída, arrasada. Não, isso não pode ser. As figuras encapuzadas se moveram, percebendo a mudança. "Em momento, mais ridam benite seu cometa. Elas sempre ficaram benidas a você, Mia. Você é parte da nossa verdade. O suor delíria pesado e em cima de poder. Quando Marcos entrou próximo, brotas para a cabeça. O que na frente, você vê. Ali o momento é enigmático. E a cidade se abriu. Cafeterias podrecidas podeceram. Agora, o que perdemos todos significa odear. Ali o momento, ele buga poderosa. E vocês, guerreiro, o imperador Flávio. Vozes cracham como ventos entre amargas. Mia, me ouvi. Os seus pecados da família fizeram o Haddad. Mais verdades eles querem esconder. É isso que estão aqui. E por isso você chega. A confusão teve mental. Medo. "Lying? No, Mia." Jack stepped closer, gripping her arm, urgency etched upon his face. "If this is true, what does it mean for us? For you?" Her pulse raced, battling a storm of disbelief. The horror unveiled pushed against the walls of her reality. She wanted to turn, to run, to escape. "Mia, you're stronger than this. Don't let them divide us," Jack urged. But in that moment, something shifted again. A loud crash echoed from outside, shaking the very foundation of the church. Glass shattered, and the hooded figures turned, their faces now illuminated in the panic-stricken light. Mia! Her grandmother shouted, dread spilling into the air. It's time to run! But as the realization sank deeper, Mia felt the abyss consuming her. Everything she thought she knew was collapsing. Trust shattered like broken glass. Before she could decide, a figure rushed in from the darkness, shouting, "No! The time has come for the truth!" Suddenly, a gasp rippled through the congregation. It was Thomas, the town historian, the one man who had known all the buried truths. A tale spun in the fabric of their lives was tearing apart. He looked wildly around, transitioning from relief to terror. "Mia, they'll blame you," he screamed, pointing at her grandmother. "Seal the past or watch as it consumes you. The ashes are coming for revenge." Each word felt like a dagger. The room spun, souls trapped in this web of revelations. Lines drawn. Mia's heart rang with disbelief. What had started as an act of defiance had morphed into "Entrapar de canedos e mentiras. Com cada palma, o céu cospera segredos que cruíam nas pontas da sua sanidade. E pouquíssimo momento em que tudo estava perdido, uma luz fresca no porto. Durante segundo, a luz de sua brilhante oração tornou-se cada vez mais visível. This one dressed in all white, radiating an aura that felt both comforting and terrifying. Her hair shone, different from anyone Mia had ever seen before. "Mia," the woman said, voice strong and soothing. It was her mother's voice, yet different, as if layered with centuries of wisdom. "It's time to understand your legacy." Mia felt the earth shift beneath her, a notion of déjà vu wrapping around her heart. This woman, this figure, had a familiarity that sent chills down her spine. Who are you?" Mia whispered, heart pounding. "I'm the one they've kept hidden, the truth buried deeper than the ashes," the woman said, stepping closer. Her face mirrored Mia's mother's, but bore the marks of a deeper history. Before Mia could respond, the air thickened around them, chaos reigniting as the crowd began to murmur frantically, questions buzzing, uncertainty rising. "I'm your ancestor," the woman declared, each word heavy with revelation. "And you've inherited more than you know. The truth of your blood demands justice." The room spun, and Mia felt the ground beneath her tremble as if the universe was realigning itself. The connections she'd thought were tangled began unraveling, weaving a new pattern she couldn't yet see. "What does that mean?" she gasped, her breath hitching. "Why is this happening?" But the woman's eyes held a secret that transcended words. A storm brewed in her face, the weight of generations simmering beneath her skin. And in that suspenseful moment, as everyone held their breath, an explosion erupted outside, flinging debris into the air. Windows shattered, the church shook beneath their feet, and Mia's world tilted again. In the chaos, the stranger's words echoed in her mind. "The ashes are coming for revenge." Mia stared into the abyss, knowing that whatever lay ahead would change everything, shatter her understanding of truth, and ignite a conflict deeper than família tais. The question loomed ominamente na mesa. Would she rise with the truth, or be swept away in the coming storm? Da explosão ao saidio, horror como besto, shakeando a igreja ao corpo. Mia grabbed the hand mais pesada, o coração túmulo em tândamo com o caos. Todas as olhas voltaram para as boitoportas, onde os rementos do mundo como estendido ao seu santuário de secretos. Espumação pilou em seu dorquitonco. A mãe chamou Mia para seu próximo. A urgência na voz espalhou com alarme, balando a internet e descredido. Mas quando Mia se virava para sua avó,
O horror começou a aparecer no seu rosto. Descabelo a garra sepulta.
Chest, eyes wide in shock. You, Mia, please. Her grandmother's voice trembled. You don't understand. The hooded figures stirred, their murmurs rising like steam, filled with a sinister anticipation. The moment felt poised on a razor's edge, tension thick enough to slice through. And then it hit, a truth so sharp and sudden that Mia gasped, staggering back as if hit by a physical force. The white-cloaked woman stepped forward, an aura of power enveloping her. This isn't just about the past. The truth is buried deeper than anyone realizes. What do you mean? The crowd's murmuring turned frantic, questions spilling over one another. In that moment, a piercing scream echoed through the church, abruptly silencing all. A figure suddenly collapsed at the altar, blood pooling around him. The congregation gasped, eyes widening in horror. It was Thomas, the historian, the one who had spoken truths buried beneath time. No, Thomas. Mia felt her chest tighten, the sight wrenching her gut. She could barely move, frozen at the raw reality unraveling. Did you see? He gasped, struggling to catch his breath. It's not just the ashes, there's more. The truth, your grandmother. But before he could spill another word, blood oozed from his mouth as he crumpled against the altar. A fiste colidiu com a ar, pesado com porror. O pânico subiu, flodindo a igreja como rebote. As figuras viraçadas de uma maneira efêmera, sombras de menaça lendadas nos edifícios. What is happening? Jack's voice saiu da caos, o medo palpável. Em White tocou o step toward a fallen Thomas, a sua visão imperiosa. Você não sabes quem você é, não é? Meu pulso cresceu como as palavras se aproximam de perto. O que você quer dizer? Antes do caos, o inesperado. A mulher copada de coluna branca tinha glow esfentado. Um caleidoscopioso de memórias flechou na mente de Mia. Uma grita que remeteu à própria noite. E traiu ecoando entre as paredes da alma. Sua vida está intrincada com as cinzas. A mulher falou, voz firme. Cada palavra ressonava com urgência. O tempo chegou para a frente do seu verdadeiro legado. No ponto sentido, a revelação caiu. Um caminho na mente dela. Reach. Yet it slipped away like smoke. Her breath quickened, heart pounding louder. Mia, her grandmother said, stepping toward her. It was meant to protect you. I never meant for this to be your fate. Mia's world tilted again. The truth felt like a punch, knocking the wind from her lungs. What have you done? She cried out, tears stinging her eyes. But before her grandmother could respond, another explosion erupted outside, this one closer, more urgent. The doors rattled, debris falling from above, as casa tremia. The crowd was in chaos now, ripped from the suspended moment. A tensão recolhia como bebo torquido, feito para secar, e então, só aquele momento forte, Mia pegou pálito de alguma coisa. A figure burst through the door. An unconfundível silhueta. Mia, help me. It was Marcus again. But he wasn't alone. Behind him trailed another figure, releasing a flood of darkness that engulfed the doorway. Their face emerged from the shadows, an identity so shocking it slammed into Mia like a freight train. Dad? She whispered, disbelief ringing in her heart, as questions danced dangerously close to the edge of her mind. Reality splintered at that moment. Relationships fracturing, ancient wounds rending open like fresh scars. The truth she sought began to light up in fragments, but she couldn't grasp it. Tears blurred her vision, her heart faltering in uncertainty. What does this mean? Jack's voice was barely a whisper, fear echoing in the confusion that gripped the room. What truth will birth from this chaos? The white-cloaked woman murmured, shadows swirling in her gaze. And as the walls closed in around them, Mia's heart raced. Questions loomed, heavy with implications. Everything had shifted, and she was left teetering on the brink of revelation, or total destruction. Would she dare confront the darkness that awaited her? Mia stood there, heart racing, the chaos swirling around her in a dizzying whirlwind. Jack squeezed her hand tighter, his eyes wide, still grappling with the sudden arrival of her father, a man she hadn't seen in years. The room was charged, a palpable tension filling the air. And then, just as confusion reached its peak, her father spoke. "Mia, we don't have much time." His voice was ragged, soaked with urgency. "They're not who you think they are." "What do you mean?" she stammered, her heart pounding in her chest. "Who aren't they?" Her mind was a tangled mess, fragments of fear and uncertainty swirling together. His gaze darted towards the hooded figures, and she noticed something flicker in his eyes. Actual fear. "You need to trust me, please," he said, pleading. "This isn't just about family secrets, it's about survival." Before she could reply, the white-cloaked woman took a step forward, her expression hardening. "You lie," she spat. "You came back to take her away from her destiny." "Destiny?" Mia felt a lump rise in her throat. "What destiny?" "Enough." The lead hooded figure stepped forward, revealing his face, cold and menacing. "You think you can alter fate? You think we'll let her go?" Crowd gasped. Faces frozen in shock. The urgency swelled, heartbeats echoing against the walls. Mia's grandmother stood there, eyes wide, hands trembling. "Please, listen to him," she called. "It's true. Protect her." "What are you talking about?" Jack yelled. Confusion etched across his face. The tension was an electric buzz charging the air. Mia was torn between fear and a flicker of resolve swelling in her chest. "Tell me the truth," she demanded. "What's happening?" But instead of answers, there was a sudden surge of energy. The arena of chaos rippled as it seemed to fold in on itself. Mia squeezed Jack's hand, dread pooling in her stomach. Then it happened. From the shadows, another figure stepped forward, a tall, imposing man in a sharp suit. The congregation fell silent, shock rippling through the crowd. "Robert?" Her father's voice shattered the silence. "You're surprised to see me, old friend." Robert's lips curled into a sneer, eyes glinting with malice. "You thought you could bury the past and still play the hero? What do you mean?" Mia looked back and forth between the two men, hearts racing together. "What's going on?" But even as they spoke, the air shifted. Robert raised a hand, and suddenly, the hooded figure stepped back. "Murmurs de obediência passando pelos outros. You've meddled with things sem o compreender, Marcos," Robert said, voz leitada com vênimo. "Agora ela pertence a nós." Mia sentiu o mundo cair ao seu redor. Não, desesperação explodia à tona. "Eu não pertenço a ninguém." Ele ignorou, a atenção focada, como e a sua mãe, de ser uma revelação, seguiu afinco. E o falou repentino, passando por dentro da rolada, o sangue inteiro um potencial poder. Mia, quem pode entregar o que tem dentro de você? Before she could process, the white-cloaked woman stepped forward, her presence blazing. "Is it true? You're the key to the past being reborn, Mia? It's your bloodline." She hesitated, a flicker of compassion breaking through her fierce demeanor. But with it comes danger, real danger. The tension cracked like a whip. The crowd was on edge, their breaths held, fear collapsing in on itself. Mia grasped the weight of every word, her reality breaking apart like oven-melted glass. Then, the shocking truth tumbled from her father's lips as Robert smirked. "You're not just her father. You're her guardian, her protector from the shadows. And now, it's your turn to choose. Do you let the truth emerge, or do you hide from it forever?" All eyes turned to Mia as the gravity of his revelation crashed down on her. Her heart raced, the weight of countless secrets pressing down, swirling into chaos. She was the centerpiece of a game larger than she could ever comprehend. And in that moment, the realization hit her like a punch to the gut. This was Mor da família, mor da betração. Isso foi uma batalha para sua alma. Será que ela abraçaria a verdade ou deixaria-se consumir? Conforme a sala batia pesada, Mia ficou fechadíssima, dessombrada. Dois mundos, anestese com promessas. O ar subia. Sentiu revicada. Não havia nunca escape fora das mortes. Ela tinha que tomar uma escolha. Mas qual delas escolheria? Se ela queria reparar tudo o que sabia. Mia sentiu o peso da sala pressionando, corações abalados, também esperando pela próxima revelação. A gripe do pai dela sentia um sorriso da pele e perguntava: como será? Aí as palavras: Mia, tu é a chave pro passado. Air like a dark cloud. Just then, a mulher preta de cimento pois terra, olhos supindo-se pretos. Mia, escuta-me. Você tem o poder de mudar tudo. Mas antes de Mia contestar, a igreja tremeu. As paredes cripou. Uma sensação pesada. A vento perseguironada. Confusão misturou com medo. Mia desceu o dedo soube bem. Subitamente, a brilhante flash de luz mais eruptou da porta, limpando todos. Sentia como fosse uma lâmpada dentro de tempos e competentes, exclusivos. Caía desperido, entre aspas, a mãe dela, e assim por diante. A cabeça do pai. Snap toward the front. A shadow, rushing fast, leapt across the threshold. The crowd gasped in unison. She squinted, her pulse quickening as the figure staggered into view. It was a woman, face bloodied, clothes torn, eyes wide with terror. Help! They're coming! You have to! And then, just as quickly as she appeared, she collapsed at the altar, lifelessly, like a rag doll dropped carelessly on the floor. A stunned silence fell over the church. Broco only pelo eco intando da mulher pegando pela frente. O expiro de Mia se impostando na sua boca como águas. Mia, o pai disse, o rosto corazado, é pai. Descuidadoso que pode comigo, disse. Dentro das cenas da porta abre a cinta. O rodeiro. Não sabia se nosso coração estava Figures began to murmur among themselves. The lead figure stepped forward, raising their hands in a way that demanded attention. Your past is about to be laid bare, my dear. The figure hissed, voice smooth and chilling. Everything you've hidden, it will rise again. Mia's legs trembled beneath her, adrenaline coursing through her. She turned to Jack, fear mirrored in his eyes. What do they mean? Just then, the hooded figure pointed directly at her father. He knows her, the one who fell. She's not just a victim. She's your sister. The words hit like a bullet. Mia's pulse raced. What? She gasped, the confusion tumbling her thoughts. That's impossible. No, her father shouted, anger flaring, eyes wide in disbelief. She can't be. That's a lie. But the lead. Figura laughed. Ledo, dundadaço que gerou a minhas pinas. Uma mente? Alantal 13 dizem, Burbo Negra. O seu pai tem transgredido, gerando o povo Ica, minha querida. Não, Mia sussurrou, a cabeça. Mas algo mudou na sua ação, cega de fumante que você tem. Porra, murmurações piadas. Confusão cresceu fal. Será que é verdade? Alguém perguntou. É ela a nossa irmã? O coração de Mia correu. A revelação tão subitamente tem pavio. E agora, outra explosão rodou com o tempo. As portas sim, o bento caiu e confusão se borrou na igreja. Malevolente. Smoke puria, like a viscous fog, crepindo pela rua. E com isso veio uma voz profunda e grotesca. Tu achavas escondê-la, e medo pôde no estômago. A figura emergiu da fuma, capada e poderosa. Quem é você? Jack demandou, em frente de Mia, um protetor instintivo. Eu sou o retorno,
A verdade não pode mais ser silenciada. A linhagem de Mias detém a chave para tudo. And now, é a Axis o Humor, é o início de Mia. Poderoso e sufocante. Ela sentiu que o chão abandonado a derrubava. Encontrava um doido coço. Desert, air, thickened, pulso.
Racing with every heartbeat, and one thought screamed inside her. This wasn't merely about family. This was war against a legacy. Will she embrace the truth or be swallowed whole by the chaos? As the smoke swirled and shadows gathered around, Mia's world shifted irrevocably. The reckoning had begun. Mia felt the tension thicken, a heavy blanket of dread. She stood in shock, her heart racing as the shadowy figure loomed over them. The ashes are only the beginning. The words echoed around the church, crashing through the chaos. Her grandmother's revelation twisted inside her. This was a battle for more than just survival. It was a fight for truth. Enough, Mia shouted, her voice breaking through the turmoil. We won't be pawns in this game anymore. With each word, courage surged through her, igniting a spark of defiance. The cloaked figure hesitated, caught off guard. You think you can change fate? The mocking tones stung. But Mia stood firm, fists clenched at her sides. She could feel the weight of generations pressing down hard, but she wouldn't buckle. Jack squeezed her hand, his eyes fierce and alive. We're with you, Mia. Always. Mia's father took a step forward, rage brimming beneath the surface. I made mistakes, I'll own them, but this isn't just about me. Or you. It's all of us will fight this together. The murmurs from the crowd rippled like a wave. She turned to see her mother's face, resolute and proud. You're stronger than all of your fears, Mia. Trust in that. The hooded figure's laughter faded into silence. Join us, the figure wheezed, voice filled with malice. Or lose everything. For just a moment, Mia felt the fire of doubt flicker. But then she thought of her great-aunt, of the pain, the secrets buried in ash, and the faces of her community that had suffered. This was personal. No, she cried. We will face the truth together. It ends here. A deafening silence fell upon the congregation. It hung thick, waiting. Mia took a shaky breath, grounded in her family, fueled by their love. You don't have control over our lives anymore. Suddenly, the woman in white stepped forward, radiating power. Mia's right. The truth cannot remain shackled. It deserves to burn bright. A wave of energy emanated from her, flowing through the air like eletricidade. Em abraço, a realidade distorceu. Cores se swirlando, as formas se perturbaram. E os rostos de Mia se morfaram à reflexão do seu passado. Ela viu o fogo, o dolor, a via rastela se morfavam em incerto. Formas de grapulho, o meaço, e toou fortado com o ainda, e a impurição bateu no fundo. You dare challengear-nos! Mia rompeu, uma sensação de liberação surgindo pelo ar. O terreno tremia, as paredes bateram, e a energia cresceu com cada rasteiro. Vozes do seu antepassado ecoaram para ela. Um mundo surgiu no outro, e desse reverberou no coração de Mia. Luz burou. Desce, ecoa, a Bíblia postura. Puxou, a vida, o livro. Para. Oi, e ela abriu mão. Ela vai adoecer, e mantém o ini. Over every mão. She felt the warmth da liberação sorriu, envolvendo os partos de ouro. Dando as sombras caíram, o silêncio englofou a igreja, que morava ao lado diferentes deles, uma vez estranhos, agora negros. Eles estavam unidos na verdade, não mais mancados em chamas de mentiras. E quando o poeira cimentou,
Mia viu a avó, estando cumple abaixo do coração, e olhou para sua filha, juntos se encaravam seu pai. Bondados pela sua jornada, Mia graspou a mão de Jack seguramente no coração. We did it, chifucheira com os olhos, propelando-os para a frente, mas a sombra flicoreia o Goya da visão. Será que isso tudo?
Be free? What other realities lay beyond the truth they'd uncovered? Uncertainty wrapped around her as she took a deep breath. And in that moment, the weight of her story lingered, questions abounded, and mysteries awaited just outside the door. You don't want to miss what comes next. This is the time to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our exciting new stories. Press like now to help spread the word. We want to hear from you. So flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about this finale. And don't wait 1 second longer to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this dramatic conclusion. You are the heart of our story. Let's dive into this next chapter together.